Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
I always think about the time I wore glasses and you took a picture and I looked very cross-eyed. So,
girl, let me post it. I'm going to post it for our Patreon friends.
I don't know why I go cross-eyed in glasses. You have on glasses, you don't look cross-eyed.
I've been wearing glasses since 3rd grade, though.
Well, look, it's something about when I'm... do I go...
And I go right there.
Right. And
I have a lazy eye. So a lot of times the glasses is a cop-out for my lazy eye, I think.
I just feel like my eyes cross over once I put glasses on. So
either glasses or lashes. Like I put lashes on, sometimes my lazy eye doesn't show up as much. Or sometimes it's more defined. I don't know.
All right, back to the focus. All right, welcome to another edition of Oh No Girl Yes. If you wear glasses, post a picture of you and your glasses. And if you can keep your eyes together on the same page. Yeah, Brad, we looking for things to celebrate nowadays.
I got a treat for Patreon because that thing is hilarious. That's about the funniest thing I ever laughed at. That picture of you with those glasses.
Oh, that's for Patreon? Okay, Patreon only. Thank you. I was bullied by my friends because I was having a cute night and they just couldn't stand it. So they had to find one moment that my eyes may have drifted in a photo. Anyway, we hope everybody is staying safe and staying sane. We know that those two options are important and not easy. So we appreciate you joining us for another edition of Oh No Girl Yes. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Also Patreon, as she mentioned, it's a subscription service, so you get a little bit more behind the scenes info on us every week. So you want to subscribe to that and support us in that way. How you doing?
I'm right.
Are you? I just before we started recording this, realized I was hacked on Facebook. So if you listen to this podcast and you follow my @EuniceElliottTV page, please delete that page. We just want to just get rid of that page altogether. And that's just some housekeeping that just happened. And I kind of felt my spirit rising up, but I said, no. I am too blessed to be stressed.
Right.
That should be a bumper sticker. That's probably where I got it from. All right. What are we talking about today?
Friends. How many of us have been friends?
How many don't want no more of them? Friends. All right. Can men and women be friends? Now, we recently did an episode about the last few guys we tried to entertain wanted to be friends to see if it turned into something else. And we felt like that was an absolute cop-out. We are intentional about our interactions with men. We're not walking around here looking for no new friends. Now, with that being said, the question is, can men and women even be friends?
Mm-hmm.
What say you?
You know, I don't like making general statements, so.
Well, I want you to make the statement from your perspective. I'm not asking you to speak for everybody. I'm asking you to speak for yourself.
From my perspective, no.
Oh, men and women can't be friends, okay? I will say for mine, I'm gonna ask you to expound on that. From my perspective, I will say yes.
You gotta be yes or no.
No, from my perspective, I would say yes, and then I will expound on that. So you go ahead and expound on why you think men and women cannot be friends. Because I know that you have male friends, so I don't know if you said that. You have men friends.
Yeah, I do. I mean, but I don't consider them my friends. They are friends.
Explain.
Huh?
I hope
that's what I was gonna say.
They about to get their feelings hurt, y'all.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I mean, I have friends, and then I have friends who I consider family, and I don't have any male friends that I put in that family category. As far as like my friends who I, even if I don't talk to them every day, I do. When I do, I express more, secrets, and we talk about things, about life and stuff like that I may not get that deep with. I don't have a male friend that I talk to like.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you don't believe men and women can't be friends. Yeah, you might not have a guy that's your best friend.
No, that's why I said, I mean, you were like, take a stand, and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I can be friends, but I don't have a best friend as a man, period.
Right, but a lot of people do have best friends.
Yes, that's why I said I didn't want to speak in general, because I know some people make it work. I don't know if it's just circumstance. And here's the thing. When I was younger, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I always prided myself on having a good mix of men and women who were friends of mine. But I think those male friends, those friendships I had, probably are my singleness is probably a symptom of that even from then.
Oh, why would you say that? Explain that.
Because I was the cool girl. I was the one that, I never made myself available in any other light than just being a friend of men.
Right.
And it wasn't anything sexual or romantic or anything like that. But I feel like maybe I put myself in a position to be a good friend to a man as opposed to a good girlfriend to a man. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I kind of just grew up.
Right.
Just being a buddy.
Right. And then you had an older brother, so you used to being the cool little sister type character.
Right. So nowadays it's like it doesn't seem desirable at all to me to have any men friends. I don't see what they would benefit me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think men and women can be friends. I don't have any men that I consider like my close friends right now, but I do have men in my life that I would say, oh yeah, he's my friend. Or if they say, oh, do you know such and such? Oh yeah, I'm friends with such and such. I used to have closer male friends when I worked in a more male-dominated industry. When I worked in sports, I had a lot of male friends because that's all I was around. So either I was traveling with a guy or working for a guy or, something like that. And I did have closer male relationships that were platonic. But what I have come to realize with a lot of my platonic male friendships that I had developed over time, over the years, I realized that they probably originally were rooted in a dating situation, and then that dating situation didn't work out, and then we became platonic friends, like probably dated for a few months, but were platonic friends for 10 plus years. I just started feeling like, I needed to kind of limit my access and their access to me, because it started feeling like they had the benefit of having me in their lives as a confidant, as an advisor, as a supporter, but I was receiving none of the benefits of having either that in return, because they wouldn't necessarily provide me with that in the friendship level, or even just have that from a relationship standpoint. So I consciously said, you know what, I have all these guy friends and I probably dated some of them. I just need to limit their access to me. And I got tired of being dropped as the friend when they would get into a romantic relationship or get engaged or married. And then they wouldn't talk to me no more. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we was cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing about another layer of it, especially when they get in relationships or they get married. Where does that leave you as a friend? And out of respect for relationships, I will always step back. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't even want to put myself in that position and have to like not have that same interaction. I know it's a respect thing, but I don't, why put myself in a position? That's why I say I don't really desire to have any other.
But when you say out of a respect thing, do you mean if you had dated that person before, or just being in the space of a friend?
Being in the space of a friend. I mean, the dynamic should change. When you get married, I think your dynamic changes with your normal friends too. But especially if you have a friend of an opposite sex, you're not going to be hanging out on the weekend on the couch watching TV or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't. I don't think it should be. Everybody's relationship
very delicate balance. I think it's a very delicate balance. I think it would be unrealistic if I was to be in a relationship with a man or even married him. It would be, to me, unrealistic to expect or want or wish him to never have another female friend or not interact with any of the female friends he had before me. However, yes, your interactions need to be edited and different.
The dynamic changes.
Right. It has to be a different dynamic. I don't care about y'all being friends, but she ain't gonna be calling you at 1 o'clock in the morning. She ain't gonna do things that she may have done when you were single before me. But I think it would be unrealistic and kind of weird for me to not want you to have that person in your life anymore, or not interact with that person. But I mean, some people are like that. Some people are like, you can't talk to, and I'm like,
no. But I think there is a dynamic that changes, and
and I think that's where people mess up, because they feel like, well, I was here first and I'm not going to change the dynamic because I'll be here after you. It's like, well, no.
That's not, no.
I remember I dated a guy and he had a bunch of women friends. And it's so funny because I'm just now having this memory about this person. And he had a lot of female friends. And I remember I would say to him when they would call late at night, or they would just, do things that I felt like kind of overstepped the bounds of friendship, I would say, so either they don't know you have a girlfriend, which is a problem, because if y'all are friends, they should know that you found an amazing woman, or they don't care that you have a girlfriend, which is also a problem. So I would say, which problem is it that she's calling you at midnight? I'm not questioning whether she's just a friend. I'm questioning whose problem do I need to address this with? Because I know, as being a female friend, when I had guy friends, if they told me they were dating a girl, whatever, it might be something I see come on TV at 1 o'clock in the morning that in my old life, I could say, oh my God, turn to this channel, you guys see this, I thought of you. But say, no, he's in a relationship, I just talk to him whatever or not. Mm-hmm. But you got to self-regulate yourself being that female friend with a guy that's in a relationship.
And I've even gone as far as I have friends who are married, who I was friends with both of them before, but once they get married, if I need to communicate with the husband, I'll go through the wife. Out of respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Text, hey, are y'all available this weekend to, come over for dinner or what, whatever it is. Just out of respect. Either do both of them.
Let me ask you this.
Either do both of them or go through the wife. That's.
Okay, so let me ask you, because I've had this question before when I've had neighbors before, and you have couples as neighbors. And let's say the guy, maybe he's outside more, or you see the guy more, and maybe you converse with him more just because you don't see the woman. How do you then flip it to where you communicate with this woman that you don't really see or that you don't talk to versus feeling like, okay, I don't want to be talking to somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Just out and about or like?
Well, I mean, if you live in a neighborhood or in an apartment complex or something like that, where you always see the guy and you know that he's in a couple, but, most of your interactions are with him. Mm-hmm. So if you saw the couple walk up, you and the guy probably get to say, oh, remember yesterday or such and such, where you wouldn't really have that dynamic with the woman, and it kind of puts you in a situation of, I'm not friendly with your man. It's just.
Well, I mean, in that case, honestly, I mean, if we're just passerbys with me and the guy, I wouldn't really be concerned about what his wife thought about it.
Okay.
I mean, because we don't have a real relationship. We just.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I would probably be more concerned about what she thought about it versus a friend who knows me and is my friend. I would think.
Oh yeah,
I guess a stranger who doesn't know me.
Yeah, I mean, I would, if I walked up to someone and I knew the guy, I would introduce myself to the woman anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, we've never met or something, just to try to ease the mind. Like, I'm not your friend. But I wouldn't be too overly concerned about it.
So I see an advantage in men and women being able to be friends, because a lot of times it's a difference of perspective. It's a difference of, communication styles and skills. I think it would be a double-edged sword on this one. I think a guy could talk us off a lot of our ledges, but they also could keep us on a lot of ledges too, that we shouldn't be on. Because they're like, oh man, you tripping. No, he probably just ain't called you back because XYZ. And as a friend that you respect, you would take that as, that's true. And he's, and he ain't crazy and he's like that too. But then that still don't mean it's okay for you. And so I think that would still be that balancing act. I also think sometimes women have like that best gay guy friend, where it's a different perspective still from a guy, but then also someone who's not hetero is a different dynamic in a friendship.
Right. And I see those types of relationships continuing beyond
a relationship or marriage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you had, let's say, of all of your platonic guy friends, you don't have a lot right now. You don't have anybody you can
right.
Like
and you know what? Let me change that. I do have one friend who we've been friends since high school, and if he listened to this, he would probably be offended, but he is my friend.
I think you got more than one that should be offended if they listen to this. But let's say him and some of the peripheral people that probably call you their friend. The reason why I say I think you have more male friends. Let me tell you why I think you have more male friends, definitely more than I do, is because you're in a sorority and you have fraternity brothers and you have a brother that's in a fraternity. And you just have male friends. You do.
I do. But
they should all be offended. They should all be offended. So let me ask you this question.
They won't be offended by that.
The surface friends that you have, that you don't even claim, obviously. If you were in a relationship and the guy that you are in a relationship with in love with you, you in love with him, this is it. If he made the statement, I don't want you talking to no other dudes, your first mind's like, yeah, I ain't talking to other dudes. But if he actually specifically said people that you are friends with, lightweight friends, would you have a problem with him or with that? Or
hold up, say that again because you froze up for me.
Okay.
If he made the statement.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you were in love and dating a guy, and you've already mentioned most of your guy friends are surface friends. They're not even people you call friends. So they're like a best friend. But this guy you're in love with and in a committed relationship with says, I don't want you talking to none of them dudes ever again. Would you be okay with that? Or would you be okay with him saying that?
Mm-mm.
Why?
I wouldn't be okay with anybody telling me who I can and cannot talk to, period.
Okay.
Like I said, the dynamics should change. My phone shouldn't be ringing after midnight from a guy if I'm in a relationship with someone. I get that. I shouldn't be going out on dates or outings with just me and this guy if I'm in a relationship with somebody. But I mean, I get what you're saying. I have male friends, but these are just people I've met over the years. Like you said, a lot of them are like maybe, you know, closer to my brother. These are like, some of them I look up at too as like big brothers in my, you know, so, but they're not people I just, you know.
Right, but I know, I'm establishing that, but I'm saying if you were in a committed relationship.
Yeah, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't have a problem with him saying that, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The problem would be based on him saying it, not based on your relationship with these dudes. It would just be based on the fact that he thought he could regulate who you could communicate with.
Mm-hmm. Because even if he said I couldn't hang out with my girlfriends, I would feel the same way. Or, you know, like, oh, you can't do that anymore. Well, yeah, I can actually.
Right, but that's what I was gonna say. Some people, I think, have these surface friendships, and so when they get in committed relationship, when somebody says, "Yeah, I don't want you," it's like, "Oh, that's cute." Yeah, I don't even talk to them like that.
I would.
They don't see that as indicative of a potential different problem.
Yes, I would see it as a bigger problem.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, that'd be no problem." I don't hang out with them anyway. No, let's talk about why you said that and what's the issue with that.
Right. What is the problem? If I did want to talk to them, what would be the problem with them? Even though I haven't talked to them in 8 years, if I did, what would be your?
Well, yeah, that would be an issue for me. That would be
right. Yeah, no, definitely. Because I think, like I said, it would be more indicative of a control situation or an insecurity situation or a jealousy situation. All of those which tend to end out tragically. Pretty much.
But see, like, okay, and then the other thing about friendship, I do still communicate sparingly with people that I have dated in the past, but I still don't consider them friends. And
I'm this close to this call going off a list of names that you don't consider friends.
I don't consider about. And so I guess when I say I have a big circle, but I have a small circle of people who I would call like my like I said, I don't know. I don't know. So it's hard because you use the same word for both.
Right. Okay, but let me ask you this. Since you don't consider any guys to be your friends, do you think that has affected your feelings about when you meet a potential dating guy and he wants to be friends? Is it because you don't have a bunch of dude friends that's just like a concept you ain't?
Yeah, because, well, the guy friends, and I put that in quotation marks, that I have, they would be in the last guy that I dealt with who wanted to be friends. I was hanging out with him more. I was doing, you know, we were talking every day and this and that and the other. And my other male friends, in quotation marks, we don't have that dynamic. We don't hang out. We don't, we don't talk every day. We don't, you know what I mean? So it's like, why would you require that much of my time without wanting to pursue something romantically with me? Because if not, then...
I think that's the difference. I think a woman who has male friends, even though she might not want to be friend zone with a potential romantic partner, she might say, oh, okay, well, I have friends, and okay, he just becomes one of my friends. Because how many times it'll be a guy and a girl, and they're like, oh my God, I have to tell you how we met, and we didn't click that way, but then we just became best friends, or we hung out all the time, or he set me up with his cousin, and so sometimes that happens. But I think at this juncture in our lives specifically, when a guy says, well, let's be friends and see what happens. One, I've kind of outgrown that stage of where I don't meet women to be friends. It's either I can see how I can help you and you can help me.
Right.
And it might form a friendship from that professional interaction. But you making your friends as a young person or certain circumstances causes you to make friends. But I think if you did have more male friends that you did talk to regularly, that you did hang out with regularly, potentially it would buy a potential relationship person some time when they offer that friend idea.
It would. Yeah, that does shape my perspective as how I see friendships moving forward, because if I had a lot of people, and I used to, like I said, back in the day, that would be different. And so I probably was one reason why I was more open to when guys didn't want to commit one way or the other. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, yeah, we hanging out just like I hang out with all my other guy friends. Cool.
Yeah.
But when you know better, you do better, and you realize if you're having these attachments, these, romantic feelings for somebody who doesn't feel the same way about you, then you want to try to avoid that at some point.
So now tell me about have you ever had a friend or someone who saw you as a friend that you did have romantic feelings for?
No, unless it derived from us trying to date the first time. Not anybody that I was platonic with in the beginning.
And then you grew to have feelings.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. Like, there's no guy that I've ever just been strictly friends with. No, that's not true. That's not true. Well, let me put an asterisk by it. I met a guy and we had no previous relationship, but when I met him, I thought he'd be a good friend. And so from us becoming friends, we then ended up dating. And then I realized, oh no, I remembered now that I didn't mean to date him. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I met him, I didn't see him as, oh, this is somebody I would date. It was like, oh, but he'd be a good friend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, probably not. Do you think that, I feel like I'm interviewing you, but do you think most men who have platonic relationships with women are attracted to the woman? Whether the woman is attracted or whether he's ever communicated it or whether they've ever dated, do you think there's an attraction on at least the man's end? Because a man told me that. He said any man you see with female friends, he probably would want to be with them.
I think there's an attraction.
Yeah.
And it varies for different people. She likes this and I like this. So you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if it's a romantic attraction every time.
No, he was offering a romantic. I mean, I think if platonic, hetero, same, everybody is attracted to people for different reasons. Oh, I love hanging out with her because she's funny, or him because of this. Yeah. But I mean, this guy told me any guy that has platonic female friends, he would appreciate his shot. If he hadn't already had it, he's just trying to be around till he gets it, which now men are communicating to us, hey, let me just hang around until I can get a shot, or see if we go there. But that's what he told me. He had a bunch of female friends. And I was like, so all of your female friends that you hang out with, you ultimately would want to kiss them at some point? And he was like, yeah. I was like, really?
That does not sound right to me. I would love to hear
there is a physical or romantic attraction on some level. It might be a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. It might be 5. It might be 8. But he said he don't just have girlfriends, friend girls that he's not somewhat attracted to physically or, in some way.
I don't know. That can go either way.
But again, I think a lot of guys feel that, and then they have this ruse of, oh no, I just have a lot of women friends. And then when you meet them and for the intention of dating, and then they offer you this idea of joining the harem of friends, you're like, yeah, because you probably like all your friends. And you just want to add me to that because you don't want to commit, or you don't want the expectations, or whatever reason that you're not willing to pursue an intentional interaction with me. Of course, we would have to build a friendship to grow into something else. But I think those people and the people that we have discussed, I know definitely for mine, I think that was the case. I think there was an attraction for him with all his friends. Yeah. And at some point, he has either gone through the friend group or plans to go through the friend group. And when he met me, he wanted to add me to the friend group.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't because he wasn't attracted to me or interested in me. It was, I could add you to this harem of friends.
Right. And I don't think that's fair.
No, it's not fair at all.
I'm not going to.
It's what happens, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
And like you said, we're at an age now where we're not like we're out here meeting new people every day that we want to be friends. I'm guilty of meeting people. I'm not necessarily the no new friends for the most part, but because I'm guilty of meeting someone who is super fun and, super ambitious and, just all around great person. I'm like, I want to hang around with that person more.
Yeah.
See what they're about. And it's more of a selfish thing at that point to gain,
I think initially I'm no new friends. I think a good portion of my no new friends concept comes from the friends I have. I don't spend enough time with. I don't talk to enough. I don't buy enough gifts for. I don't call enough. Yeah. So to me, the idea of a new friend is like, I already don't take care of the friends I have.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to set you up to be disappointed in this friendship with me. Because the friends I have been friends with me for years, and they know. If they ain't talk to me, it ain't got no reflection on how I feel about you.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And so I think a new friendship right now, I would feel like it'd be too much pressure for me to try to maintain. or even check in, like, oh, let me check in with her because she don't know that I'm not gonna talk to her for 3 months.
Yeah, and another thought on the whole no new male friends or men friends. Another thought on that is, because I still desire to find a relationship, a loving romantic relationship, and desire to get married, why would I want to have just a friend around that dynamic is gonna have to change eventually? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, but I think there's advantages and disadvantages to both arguments, because it could just be a great person that helps you grow in your
it could be a season
with the man. It might just be a great person that has certain interests that you never had before, that, you know, he might like bird watching, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go with him, I don't care. And then you meet the man of your dreams out there bird watching, you know. So it could have its advantages for sure, but it could also have its disadvantages.
Yeah.
Again,
it could be a seasonal thing. You know, there are seasons in life, and you know. But I don't know. I haven't met any guy potential just platonic friend. Anytime I've met someone is a guy at this point in life is to pursue something. So, and then when they hit me with the friendship, I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
So before we wrap up, the concept of that work wife, work husband is always bad.
Right.
We just want to throw that out there. Because even though people don't hear themselves when they say, oh, that's my work husband, that's my work wife, and you're like, wait, what? That usually means they have somebody at home that is the real wife, the real husband. And so when you try to preface it or encase it as, oh, that's just my friend, well, then you wouldn't refer to them as a wife or a husband.
Yeah.
So that's just your friend at work.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people are saying something and they don't realize what they're saying, and it's not cute and it's not funny. So if you do have a relationship, don't be having no work wife or work husband. You might have a coworker and y'all on the same team, or y'all work well together, but keep it there, because I think sometimes, you know, I know men will take advantage of a situation. I think anybody could. So I'm only speaking about men because that's my background. That's my research is in men. But anybody can take advantage of you sharing information and exploiting it. So if you have that great guy friend and he's hearing all the worst things that's ever happened to you in dating situations, he's going to show up and be the opposite of all those things. It's not that he's being authentically himself. He's just being the opposite of what you've experienced that didn't work. And so you're like, oh my God, he's so different. And this guy would never text, and he texts me 25 times a day. Or this guy never bought me flowers, and he bought me, you know. Well, he just knows the answers to the test, you know. Yeah. And I think a woman could do that too. You know, if the man comes to work and says, man, she don't never cook, you know what you gonna have tomorrow? Oh, I cooked last night, I just brought you some for lunch. So she said, you don't never. It's easy to exploit somebody's vulnerabilities in that way, and the next thing you know, you in love with them and they not even that person. Yeah. But because they had that access and they were close to you, put yourself in that situation. And that happens a lot. It's that 80-20 where they present the 20, but it be looking like 80, and you leave your 80 to 20. Because they did that 20 that you said you was missing. So you be like, ooh, I can do this, this, and this. And then by the time they go for the 20, they looking back like, wait a minute. Wait. Right. I didn't mean to do that. So, but at the end of the day, I would say, yes, men and women can be friends. Be clear about where you are in your life with your intention and where you are spending your time and energy. I think we can all learn a lot from each other. If I had to have one overall sweeping hope and dream, it would be that we could be better friends to each other, just even as strangers. Because I feel like we have such an adversarial relationship, especially with singles, but with men and women. It just seems like such an adversarial relationship when you scroll on social media. It's like men hate women for various reasons, and I don't even want to say women hate men, but women share the disappointments of men. I saw this lady talking about the difference between men singers or rappers and women singers or rappers. It says men talk about what they're gonna do to the woman, and the woman is singing about what was done to her.
Right.
And it's like, we need to shift those conversations on both ends. Both ends, we need to have more of a friendship and a meeting of the mind. So just my 2 cents. We would love to hear what y'all think about it. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share the podcast after you listen. This is a video that you can also watch if you are an avid listener. This is all on video on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can also subscribe for some behind the scenes conversations. on our Patreon page and be a supporter that way. I can't wait for all your non-friends to hit you up saying, dang, Robin is like that.
They my homies. They not my friends. They not my homies.
That's a whole nother episode.
I'm just
Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes he did.